Every production of any real magnitude requires quite a bit of work from people that are behind the scenes. Besides the actors that you readily see just in the movie or the film, you also have your cameramen, your boom operators, editors, the list just goes on and on. Ultimately, though, this all comes together to form the final product. There were quite a few people who worked as cameramen for us. We had such people as Chris O'Neill, who also acted. We had Evan Hafferty, Miles Francis, and Michael Dorman. Michael Dorman was one of the few professionals who helped us on our film. He also lent us such equipment as the Glide Cam, which basically is a chest-mounted device that keeps the camera steady as you walk around with it. So that definitely lent a degree of professionalism to the whole production, as well as getting some shots that would have been impossible otherwise. Our guys worked a variety of jobs, really. There's no cameraman did not have another job. Boom operator. Evan Hafferty worked as a boom operator quite often, and Chris O'Neill, of course, was an actor. Night scenes are quite the dilemma for the amateur filmmaker. They require lots of times equipment that is not normal, for us to possess. Lighting is the biggest thing. You basically have to provide all your own lighting, or else the cameras become really grainy. There's many things you got to consider. The night scenes we did were all done on one night just to make things easier, and basically it was really, really cold. It was probably 40 degrees out, which for Arizona weather that's quite cold. And just being out there in basically tropical summer gear, the Vietnam gear, it didn't keep you warm. So we were all lying down and trying not to shiver the entire time. The cameras were on us, rolling as we were laying down on the cold ground. The rain scenes were especially cold, as you can imagine. Having basically buckets of water poured on you is not fun.
No, stay there.
I've never snowboarded to say, I'm not gonna remember my life. Crap.
No, obviously you can't go through something like this without having fun.
A little bit.
We had a lot of fun just camping out at night, and we'd bring some pyrotechnic stuff along that we were using for the film, and either we'd try to shoot a scene just for fun. For instance, we had Drew with his M79 shooting a grenade canister flare round and just lighting up the night sky. I think it was like 30,000 candle power, and it was pretty magnificent. But we just there's just so many things at night, just off scene, off film, everything that you bond, you become good friends.
Guys, that might start a fire over there.
Towards the very beginning of the project, we attempted a base camp scene. And a base camp is basically where you lived when you weren't in field. It's where you launch all your operations from. But the whole idea was to really show, what guys did on their off time when there's not people shooting at you, essentially. And it was just to lighten up the mood, really teach you what the characters were, who they were. But the base camp didn't come along very well. In fact, it was a total failure, to tell you the truth. And we had huge amounts of manpower poured in this, but it just wasn't enough, and eventually we gave it up. But we slept out there.
Hey, Drew, how'd you sleep?
Very realistic for Vietnam, I guess.
Humor value would be. Okay.
Let's move, men. There's a Comfort Inn right up the road.
Yay!
Dude, my gun is so low.
I'll take. Don't say jealous. No. Say Art. Or
Joe.
Some other name.
Take it up the rear. There's no one around for miles.
Grab all your gear. Let's go.
Oh, yeah? Grab my gear when I want to.
I grabbed it, now what?
Dang it.
I'll grab it.
Vive la France.
We had a lot of blood in the movie,
Yeah, the one-
and
long
you know
one.
people
You said
getting
you found
killed,
one.
and in order to recreate
Well, yeah,
that,
it's over there.
you gotta have a
Yeah,
lot
I
of
just wanna
blood
make sure it
and
fits in.
prosthetics and everything else. But it was always kind of funny to see these guys when they weren't playing dead, just walking around with battlefield wounds. Mike and I kind of traded
I don't care if you want to take a knee, you do.
knowing exactly what we wanted for a scene. So basically the whole movie, we had some scenes we totally agreed upon how they should look. Other scenes we basically said, hey, look, you do this one, and then I'll explain the next one. And that's the way it worked. But Mike, when he got his turn, he definitely put it down. He laid down every little detail, and he made sure everyone knew exactly what they were doing.
You stay crouched. You go ahead and stand up. You three can stand. You can stay crouched.
Our Viet Cong were basically high school sophomores. And I think we had one or two Chinese in there, but no real Vietnamese. But in a sense, that actually worked out fine because we weren't trying to show the enemy side for this film. We were trying to show the American side. But these guys were great. They put up with a lot. It was a really, really cold day that day. It started raining, and we basically shot all the VC scenes in 2 days. And they were, every single one, as with most people, they were volunteers, strictly. But they're a good group of guys, knew how to follow instructions, and did what you told them to do.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Dave.
Running down
Everybody choke.
or whatever, running across that grass.
Awesomely insane.
So Chris O'Neill here. Yeah, he looks, look, show him the sideburns. Yeah, okay, so it works. Chris O'Neill wasn't able to come today, so Andrew here was nice enough to volunteer.
My pleasure.
Well, thank you very much. The truck scene was fun, but anytime you didn't have to walk, that was the best part about it probably, because we walked quite a bit on a normal day, just going over the hills and everything else, just doing scenes over and over again. But we decided to have fun, and on the way back we took the truck to one of our friend's house, and basically we were all very, very thirsty that day. Most of us didn't bring enough water, which was definitely our fault, but she was nice enough to provide that. Along the way, we were totally loaded out in all our gear. Didn't really bother to take that all off, so we had weapons and ammo and everything else out. And we had people driving by honking at us, I think, thinking we were going off to war or something. I guess they didn't recognize that we were 30 years behind in equipment, but it was a fun time to see. We went by schools and everything else. We're not trying to threaten anyone. It was just an interesting experience to be loaded out in all that gear and driving on a public street. But we had a great time that day. And the project as a whole, I met so many great people, and just people I will keep friends all my life.